taking it to brand new heights. Ashes get beautified, stop by and jazz it up. We bring it back to life, taking it to brand new heights. Ashes get beautified, stop by and jazz it up.
Hey fam, welcome back to my channel. It's Jasmine and I'm back with a quick video. Today's video is going to be a thrift haul slash thrift flip video. I grabbed some things from the thrift store and I flipped them. It's kind of a challenge, but you will see in this video. Quick update on where I've been. I just have been taking some time to focus on mental health, physical health, and all of those things. So just so you know, I'm not just like disappearing spontaneously, but I am being more intentional to focus on those things in this season. So I'm making videos when I can and as I can. So yes, I love you guys and I will still be here. I will let you know when I'm completely done making videos if that happens anytime soon. But just for now, just so you know, I'm doing well. I'm just taking a little bit more time to focus on other things, but I am still bringing content. I have a couple makeovers lined up already. I'm just waiting on the things to come in so that I can share them with you. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you at the end. Let's go thrift shopping. So we headed off to our local Goodwill, and honestly, I never know what I'm gonna find because sometimes it's really great and then sometimes there's absolutely nothing. So I keep an open mind. I love finding things with lids and shelf decor in general. So I found this little guy, snatched it up right away. I found this big bowl. I have a couple ideas of what I can do with it, but I'm just gonna take it and see what we can do. Our prices are a little bit higher because we do live in LA, but yes, that's just kind of part of the package. And then I also found this, and I'm not sure if it's gonna go well, but I grabbed it so I can see if I can try what I'm thinking in my mind. So let's get home and let's start flipping these pieces. So this little guy, I'm just going to put some plaster over it, which is what I'm gonna do with all of the pieces. I'm just mixing plaster in with some water, and then I'm going to just paint it on each item. I'm going to put a little plaster over them so they look a little bit more handmade. The plaster is really easy to mix. You just grab a little cup and mix a little bit of the powder into the water until you get it the consistency that you want it. The more powder you put in, the thicker it will be and the harder it is to like use as paint. Honestly, I didn't know exactly what I was doing. I was really experimenting with plaster and you will see how things turned out. I used to love terracotta, but I don't really feel like it goes with the style that I'm going for in my home anymore. So I'm going to paint over this. I am using the plaster to give it more of a handmade look. It already looks handmade, but I wanted it to look a little bit more organically shaped and not as perfect. So I'm using the plaster to go over it. In the inside, it was hard to paint all the way around, so I just poured some inside and I just moved it around till it coated the inside. Yeah, and I did about 2 coats on this and just let them dry in between putting them outside in the sun. So once it is completely dry, which doesn't take long, I painted a super dark color as the base color, and then I'm going back in over it with brown. So the color that I mixed for the base was just black with this light brown, and then I'm going back over once that dries with a dry brush, and I'm just dipping the tip of the dry brush into some paint so it doesn't fully soak and saturate the brush, but it's just enough that I can sweep the brush over the edges and like leave a little bit of paint on there. So after I added the white, I just wanted this layered aged look, so I'm going back in with browns, different shades, mixing black and brown together, and I just kept messing with it until it looked the way that I wanted it to look, and this is the way that it turned out. So next up we have this plastic stool from IKEA, I believe, probably from the children's section, and it was $4.99 at the thrift store. So like I said, I'm going to be doing plaster on all of them. This was all experimental. At first I was trying to paint it, but as I went over certain spots, it kept pulling off the plaster. Even after it dried, it kind of was still pulling it back off. So I ended up just pouring the entire bowl of plaster onto the top to create like a thick layer and allowing it to dry. And honestly, it dries fairly quickly, like within an hour that whole thick layer was dry. Okay, now that it's dry, this is what it looks like. I pulled out some old paints and some wood stain, and we're gonna try to recreate my inspo pick. So this is what my inspo pick looks like. Definitely these are made out of wood. They're very expensive, good quality. This is not going to be that, but that's what I'm going for in look. So I'm going over this with the dark walnut wood stain. It shows through the plaster still, so it kind of gives it the look of wood versus just painting it solid. Because the plaster didn't really cling onto the legs, I'm just going to go over the legs with some paint first, and then I'll try to color match to the color of the wood stain. The legs shouldn't be as big of a deal because they're on the bottom, so it's not as noticeable. So I'm just going to mix in some black with the brown and kind of recreate the same color I used on the little bowl we made last. I was so happy with how it was turning out. I thought this looked so good, and then something happened. If you've been around on my channel for a while, you know I like to keep it real here and let you guys know when things don't work out. Okay, so sad day. As I was driving this home, it totally broke. It fell over and broke in the car. So this whole top just like chipped off. So I'm gonna have to go back and fix it. And yeah, maybe this isn't the best option for the plastic. I don't know. So this definitely was a fail. So I just put a thin layer of plaster over it. It's not my favorite, honestly, but I just painted the whole thing one solid color, and this is what it looks like. And finally, our last item. So this one I had a hard time because I actually really loved the way that it looked before, but it was really damaged, had a lot of chips and cracks, so I thought, let me just paint over it anyway. So I started the same way as I did with the other two, going over it with plaster at first, really trying to change up the texture a little bit and give it more of a different look, still handmade, but just slightly different than its original look. Once it was dry, I grabbed some of the paint I already had on hand, but really light, but a little bit of warmth to the color, so that's why I'm using the tan mixed with the white. And I really loved keeping all the texture and the gritty look of it. And I'm just gonna play with the color similar to how I did with the last two. And this is my niece. If you guys don't know, she's been on my channel a few times. I try not to put her face on camera. We don't want her to be on social as much, but she does jump in there sometimes. She was around the whole time, but she just hopped in at this last moment on camera. And then, yes, I'm going over the bottom with the same dry brush effect that I did on the first piece, and I'm just stippling it with white, and then I'm just kind of layering on the different colors that I want so I can have that aged, used look. Then we went outside and grabbed a little dirt, and we used the dirt to kind of continue on with that aged look. We just mixed it with a little bit of water to create some mud, and then I just used the brush and brushed it on certain parts of it. So after I brush it on, I just wipe it off with a paper towel, so it kind of gets into the cracks, and then that's pretty much it. Keep going until you like the way that it looks, and this is how it turned out. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know down below in the comments which of the projects was your favorite. My favorite has to be the little bowl with the lid. I love things with lids and I love shelf decor, so that's my favorite. The stool is probably my least favorite, but let me know which one you guys liked. And yeah, I will be bringing you new projects pretty soon. Like I said, I'm working on them. They are in progress. Love you guys so much. As always, keep spreading the love and light, and I will catch you on the next one.